Pray up, go. Turn it up. It's Tuesday night with Lady Daz is going live. Bringing Quartet to your life. Oh. Bringing Quartet to your life. Feel the hype. Lady Daz is going live. Bringing Quartet to your life. Legends stepping in the room. New voices rising with the groove. Testimonies, truth, and fire. Music lifting spirits higher. Every story hits your soul. Yes, it does. Every song is powerful. Yes, it is. History and future blend. Right here where the praise begins. Tap in, join the family. Drop your comments, let it be.
Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to another powerful edition of Quartet Sensation. I'm your host, your girl, Lady Daz, and on tonight, we are having an awesome, powerful conversation. We are celebrating legacy. A lot of people in the quartet industry know who this gentleman is, and we just want to shine a light on a man whose name carried weight, respect, and history in the gospel music industry. A national promoter, he's a man who has worked with some of the most elite gospel artists that is in the industry. And listen, everybody, he's right here in South Florida, and he's the gospel man himself, Mr. Ricky Derae. Hey, Ricky.
Thank you. How you doing this evening?
First of all,
I want to thank you for having me on this Quartet Sensational show, Lady D. You're doing tremendous work in the gospel arena, and I'm so excited being on your show tonight. I just can't wait. You told me it's going to be. I make sure that I had take everything off the book and just to be with you tonight.
Oh, thank you.
Yes,
I truly appreciate it. Listen, I promise I won't keep you long. I won't keep you so long. And I know that you are busy. But I just wanted to sit down and talk to you because you are one who has a lot of history. You not only have a lot of history, you are one that have brought a lot of shows to South Florida, you and your team. And we just want to talk about all things Ricky Derae tonight because you have did your part and you're still doing your part as far as quartet is concerned in the gospel music industry. So I just want to start right here. Let's just tell everybody a little bit about yourself. Those who may not know who you are, just let them know who you are.
Well, I was born in Brooklyn, New York. My home is Brooklyn, New York. I was raised in Long Island, Freeport, Long Island, Long Beach, Long Island, and graduated in Dix Hill, Long Island. Then I came back to Brooklyn, New York. During all that period of time, I started, my mother, I had an older lady that raised me. Her name was Mother Brown, and she raised me from 8 weeks old to I got 15 years old, almost 16. And at the age of 5, I took a loving to gospel music. I mean, at the age of 5, and I can remember the first record that drew me in at the age of 5. It was a record by Reverend Julius Cheeks and the Nightingales, say, "Standing at the Judgment, got to be tried." And something about that record.
5 years old.
5 years old, and it has grown on me. And every time, back in New York, we was raised up in them you call the storefront churches, and they asked little kids, you sing," and I always would sing that song. Didn't know that I was gonna be doing what I'm doing now, and then after then, I just started taking a love for quartet music, and I just loved it, and but growing up, you be in the church so much. I say, when I get big, I am. Because I was in the church like 72 hours a week.
Just like the rest of us.
Yeah. But so when I got about 11 or 12 and I started loving it, and I told my mother, the lady that raised my name, Mother Brown, I said, I like quartet music. Now, she didn't care. Now, she was in the church, but she didn't care for quartet music like I did. You know what I mean? And she said, yo, you want to go? I said, I love it, Mom. I love it. So at the age of 12 years old, I met a man named Tommy Hines. And
Mm-hmm.
he sung with this group called the Gospel Commanders. And when I met him at a little quartet show back in the New York City, Freeport, Long Island, and I bugged him to death. You know how little kids, I'm so excited because
Uh-huh.
I used to listen to the radio all the time. Joe Bosco was the radio disc jockey for gospel, and Fred Barr, and who you had, Doc Wheeler, you had Rocky Bridges. So I used to hear all these names, and I was so excited. So I thought he was a professional gospel singer. He talk that talk. I'm living 12 years old, so I don't know no better than I took a liking to him, and he took a liking to me. And then I said, man, I want to be a gospel singer. Well, man, you can't sing. I said, yeah, I guess I can. I thought I was singing in them little churches. But to make a long story short, I got him to come to Mother Brown house, and he asked her, he's a young man. He like, I could see he loved gospel music. And he said, yeah, I sing quartet. She said, well, I read him being, doing gospel than R&B, rock and roll.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So she let me go to rehearsal. I remember the first night I went to rehearsal, man, I was so excited. I would dance while they were singing, man. I got excited. And then I stopped that week that came home. She said, you really enjoyed it? I said, yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's the only way they made me pay attention to school. Say, you don't get your grade up, you ain't going no more. I was getting them grades.
Wow. But listen, let me ask you, how did you get to these quartet programs if Mother Brown didn't really care for quartet like that?
Well, they used to have a program after the main service at them storefront churches. So
Oh,
so a
okay. So you
lot
was
of
already
quartet singers,
there.
yeah, the local groups in them days, they would come
Got
there and
you.
perform. So
Right,
that's when I
right.
met Tommy. And then after meeting Tommy and going to rehearsal with Tommy Hines, I met Big Nick Cleveland. So
Uh-huh.
these guys were huge. I got a picture on my Facebook showing they picture, and they were huge, man. I mean, Tommy weighed about 320, Big Nick weighed about 330, and then the rest of the
Wow.
guys were big. So I got to be around Big Nick. Came to my mother's house, and he got a grace where I could be with the group. So on weekends, I will be with group, and I didn't know I was a little valley. I'm carrying the amplifiers in the church.
And
I
look,
was
you thought you
happy.
was big stuff
I
being
was
doing
I was
that,
doing
right?
it. I carried the amplifiers in the church, and when they took that picture, I was in the studio when they took the picture.
Mm-hmm.
So the picture what made them, not the record, the picture what made them. Big Dan took them in the Apollo Theater, and I met Big Dan. Guess what? At the age of 13 years old, I got the church for the gospel commanders to do a rehearsal with Big Dan. So
Wow.
I was putting things together then. I didn't know.
And
But
not
anyway,
even know it.
but now you know it. But so Big Dan got with them and took them in Apollo. Back in the day, a professional group, you wasn't professional till you some got two places. It
And
wasn't
what's
so
that?
much the record. In New York, if you had hit the Apollo Theater,
Mm-hmm.
and Apollo, they used to do shows from Tuesday to that Monday, two shows a night through Friday, and then that Saturday would be four shows. Sunday it would be four shows, and then the Monday night would be the two shows. That'd be it. So if you go in that Apollo theater and hit hard, I mean, get the people, buy them tickets and stuff. You was called a professional group, and then they had another place in Brooklyn called Washington Temple. Now,
Uh-huh.
Washington Temple was the main headquarters for quartet singing. Every group in their era from 1960 to 1983 sung at Washington Temple. Every gospel artist, and you had to be real good. So anyway, the gospel heavyweights went in the Apollo Theater, and they was the gospel commanders. When they came out, they went on the road with the Mighty Cloud, the Joe and Shirley Caesar. Back in them days, they was the hottest group. I couldn't go because I was in school. And Shirley Seed and them named them the gospel heavyweight, 2,000 pounds of gospel. So they were going all around. And on weekends, I was able to, get around with them. You know what I mean? So
But
I
did they
started
ever
learning.
let you sing though? Did they
No,
ever let you
carrying them
couldn't sing?
amplifiers and sell them records. That's what they let me do. But all the groups that they was traveling with, they were traveling on the first road trip they went on was in Mississippi, and I was in a home then. I had left. I had to leave Mother Brown's, doing that. I got in some little trouble when I was 15, so I had to go
Mhm.
into a boys' home. But anyway, I was able to still travel with them and use that music from one of my critics in high school. So our first road trip, it was with the Highway QCs and the Pilgrim Jubilees down to Memphis,
Wow.
Tennessee. And we stayed at the hotel with Dr. King, got assassinated in Lorraine Hotel. That was in 1973. And I seen all the stuff and traveling. And so traveling with the Pilgrim Jubilees, Highway QCs, and then they was start traveling with the clouds but all the guys, all the professional guys took a liking to me. You know, if I wasn't around when they come in, where that little boy you had? You said, "Ooh, Ricky." They would ask for me, so I would when they come in town, I would hang out with them. Uh, so when I got about 16 and 17, the wheels started turning because I was practicing singing myself. Then I started
You started
hanging.
practicing singing?
Yeah, singing high. I used to deliver the papers and just scream the highest I could scream. Get that false tenor, and I
Uh,
developed it. So after a while,
mm,
1976, I used to be with the keynotes and all that when Paul B. when the original keynotes were there.
mm,
Paul, Pilgrim Jubilees,. I would hang around them. So, I went on some trips with the gospel keynotes in 1975 before they could record Jesus Been Good to Me. I used to hang
wow.
with them. So I met Joe Ligon in 74. And he was like a father. I mean, he'd come to the show, and if I'm standing over there and then speak, he'll walk up to me and say, "Man, how you feeling, man? All right?" Shake my hand. I was like, "Oh man, okay." But I didn't know what was in store. So in 1977, the heavyweights had split up, and by that time, I was singing with a little local group in Brooklyn called the Sons of David, and we did a couple shows, and the Lord blessed me, and they was hearing how I was singing. So Frank Tate left Big Nick. So they split the heavyweights up, and we was lightweight because we wasn't no heavyweight. Big Nick and them, they were the group. We talk about the heavyweight. We all small and stuff. So anyway, I left for Frank Tate and stayed with him a year out there in Columbus, Ohio, singing. But that wasn't gonna work out. I said, "Man, this ain't gonna work." So I called Big Nick and I said, "Man, look, I'm coming back to Brooklyn. I'm coming back to sing with you." He said, "Come on, come on." So I came on back to Brooklyn in 1978 and John Big Nick. And boy, look at here. We was having church everywhere we go because I had learned how to sing and learned how to be a professional singer.
Well, let me stop
And
you right here because
mhm,
I've spoke to many, of the veteran
mhm,
gospel artists
mhm.
in quartet, and they remember the year, the date, like it was yesterday. So
Yes.
how do you all just remember all of that, like timestamps of when certain things happen? Because I'm listening to you
Hmm.
give your background and your history of how you got started,
Hmm.
and you're doing the same thing. You're giving you're giving
Hmm.
dates of when
Hmm.
these things happen.
Hmm.
Like,
Well,
do you write this down? Um do you all take notes or document these different events?
but it's certain times in your life is when more years stand out towards you. You remember more years. Like I could remember what happened to me in 78. The best years of my life was 78, 79. And you can remember those things. You'll never leave them. You always have them. You always have a certain when you're on this life journey, certain points that you will never forget. Certain points
Hmm.
you want to forget, but you'll never forget. And that's
Never
why
forget.
I can, relate and know a lot of things and tell a lot of things. And as I was saying, that I stayed with Big Nick from 1979 to 1985.
Wow.
And
Wow.
that's when I came down to South Florida in 1986 of April. And when I came down here, I didn't have no idea that I was going to do the things that I'm doing because this is from New York, from Brooklyn, New York to Miami. That's a different flair.
Right.
But when I got down here, uh, the second day I moved down here, I started working at a place called Studio 183.
Yes, I remember Studio 183. That used to listen. If y'all from Miami, you should know about Studio 183. Like we had our proms there, the schools had their events there. That was where all the big programs were at Studio
Really?
183. So when you heard of a program coming to Studio 183, you know somebody big was coming in town, whether it's the
Yep.
keynote, the body clouds, it's
Yes.
somebody big coming.
Listen to this. Guess what? The first show. So the first show they had me working on. I was a dough man
Uh-huh.
for Johnny Tiller show. I
Wow. Okay.
was thinking of the ticket. So,
So
so
how old are you now?
well, I'm 68. I'll be 69 next month.
Well, I'm sorry. Well, how old were you at the time that you started working at Studio 183? When you first
Uh,
came to Miami?
I was 28. I was 28
Okay.
years old. But so I started working there, and then the next show I worked with Tyrone Davis. And so Zeke, the owner of Studio 103, just said, "You come down here from New York?" She said, "What you used to do with it?" I was like, "I'm a gospel singer." He said, "Yeah." I said, "I know how to promote because I was taught by the best in New York, Big Dan, the gospel man."
So this was going to be my next question to you is
Mhm.
when did you start promoting? I know you said that you was already putting things together, but you didn't know that was
My
promotion
call.
or
Right.
promoting.
Right.
So when did you actually realize that you had the gift to promote,
I,
or this is
um,
what I want to do?
well, as being, I didn't promote to almost a year to well, after I was down there, but I was looking at these programs down here, the concerts, and they were just going into like a little schoolhouses, like Northwestern, Dillard, and there was promoters down with good promoters. Brother Lee, very good
Yeah,
promoter
yeah,
down
yeah.
there.
War
Uh,
Memorial was another place.
Art Memorial, and we had a lady named Mother Francis.
Yes, yes,
She was down
absolutely.
here. Then they had a promoter here in Miami, Brother Butler, with the Sea Law Seas.
Yes.
And so those they were doing it, they were doing it, but I could see I had a vision that I could probably take it on another level coming from New York.
Hmm.
I seen it. So my first show, I never forget, it was in February of 1987. I said, I'm
Wow.
gonna put me a show together, and the Lord bless me. I got some funds together, and my first group was the Mighty Clouds of Joy in February. I brought them to the studio and anything. Let me tell you what happened. Um, I asked, when you come in a new town, you want to know who is who and what's what. You ain't trying to step on nobody's territory or nothing like that.
Right.
So I asked the promoter. I said, I respect you. Do you have anything coming around here? Because I want to bring. Oh no, 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 no. Go ahead, go ahead. Oh no. So at the time, they were selling tickets for $7 and $8, and when they bring in five major groups. So
Hmm.
I know the Clouds hadn't been down here in a long time. I talked to Joe and them said we ain't been in Miami in a long time. So I had the Cloud, and my tickets were $12 and $13. So I raised it, right. Some people say you crazy. So I had a one man. So I know you can't do nothing without advertising and
Right.
marketing, right? So I said, well. So I put a group on there, his group on there. Nothing came up. So I went to WMBM. WMBM was on the beach at that time.
Right.
And I walked in there. I'm saying I'm bringing in a gospel show with the Mighty Clouds of Joy at Studio 183, and I want to advertise. So, everybody looking around, boy. Because at that time, only promoters was spending about $200 or $300 on the radio. So they said, what kind of budget? I said, $1,500. They looked at me. They looked at
Yeah,
what?
that was a lot of money at that time.
Yeah,
That,
yeah. I
that's a
said
lot of money
1,500.
now.
I put it $1,500 on WMBM. Boy, they give me the whole station.
Wow. Wow.
Then I wasn't finished with that. Then I went to WEDR. At the
Mm-hmm.
time, there was a little house in over there in Liberty City somewhere. I went to the
Mm-hmm.
house, spending $600. Now, gospel wasn't going on there being advertised. And then I went to BET and spent money. So I was advertising. But in the meanwhile, I'm advertising. Somebody put a program on me that Friday night before mine with five
Uh-oh.
major groups. I said, oh, Lord. I said, what I got to do? I said, I ain't going to worry about it. I'm going to advertise. And they had me scared and everything, but I
But
went on with
how
it.
did that show end up?
Let me tell you something. The day of that show, the morning, that Sunday morning of that show, I only had sold $125, 125 tickets. I said, Lord. But guess what? I had
Guess what you
over
had?
800 walk up. 800 people walked up and bought tickets.
So who did you have on this show? Who was on
That,
that ticket?
that's the Monty Cloud. They was the only major. And I
Okay.
think I had the Sea Seas, the Zion Tone, I
Wow,
think
the
the
Zion
gospel lyrics, and
Uh-huh.
one more. But the cloud was the main thing. So that Friday night, I went to the man show, and they only had about 300. And everybody said, "You gonna be all right?" I said, yeah, he got five groups only. He only got 300, but I had over 900 people. And
But
then
let me ask you this. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish your
and,
thought.
then I started. My next show was Shirley Caesar,
Mhm.
that Mother's Day show.
So when did you start booking? Because I think now let's talk about you booking for several artists. I
Mm-hmm.
know one of them that you always talk about, and we're hearing it tonight is Joe Lagarde, the Mighty Clouds,
Mm-hmm.
is one for sure. And then
Mm-hmm.
who are some of the others that you have booked for or are booking for right now?
So I started at the top. Fred Hammond,
Mm-hmm.
um, book dates on Kirk Franklin. Who else? Leon Leon Johnson,
Mm-hmm.
the Cloud, Shirley Caesar. Mostly all the quartets.
Right,
I booked
right.
it, but my main two groups down through the years has been Shirley Caesar and the Mighty Clouds of Joy and Lee Williams. So back in
Wow.
them days, groups wouldn't come in for everybody. If they have a good promoter, they would just come in for that promoter
Mm-hmm.
and stick with that promoter. But now, it's done changed. But I have booked everybody. I have Kirk Franklin, Yolanda Adams, Donnie McClurkin, uh, James Fortune, Leandra Johnson. I have worked with all the top major groups, all of
Absolutely.
them. And first one that took gospel into the Hard Rock Casino.
Yes, yes, I remember that. And like
Mhm.
I said, everybody, those of you who are just joining in, we're speaking with the gospel man himself, Mr. Ricky Derae. And he's another one that's not new to this. He is definitely true to this, and he has been doing it for a very long time. And
Yeah.
if you're in quartet, you know who Ricky Derae is. If you're just getting into quartet, because I know it's a whole nother generation that is
Oh
coming
yes,
up. Trust
yes,
me,
yes,
you
yeah.
you you heard his name, or you might have heard somebody talking about him, but he is the man. And back in those days, it's like that's all we knew that was bringing not only gospel concerts. You brought a lot of plays as well.
Yeah. Oh, the play.
Yeah, let's talk about that. The Tyler Perry plays. What was this other guy's name who used to do a lot of the plays?
uh,
Talbert.
Dave Tarver.
Talbert. Yes. Yes.
Dave Tarver. You had Nate Tarver. His name Nate Tarver. And you had
Uh-huh.
my man just passed away. Dave Rubin.
Uh-huh.
He was a
Yes.
white
Yes.
promoter, and oh Al
I mean,
Wash. Al Wash.
Al
Of
Ross.
course, Al
Yes.
Wash. Arthur Primus. Oh man. And one of my good buddies, he passed away. But how I got hooked up with the play business, the play business was presented down here in about 1989, and I didn't get in
Right.
it till about 1992. And I got in with Dave Rubin with a play called "I Have a Praying Grandmother."
Your mother. Yes.
Man, my friend played, and it sold so many tickets. And Dave Rubin was a white promoter, and
Mm-hmm.
he came in town, Ricky Baby, and we were playing at the Gusman Theater. We sold out every night. It was selling out. He come in town, Rick, come on, don't worry about the ticket, come on. He take me to Joe's and Joe Meacham. Joe Meacham, that's the guy I'm thinking about. That was my buddy. And I started messing with the plays. And then back in there, we're doing group sales. And the only person was doing group
Right.
sales back in there was Julia Brown. And she was
Mm-hmm.
doing a fantastic job. But
Okay, his Wi-Fi went out, everybody. But we are speaking with the Quartet Sensation, the gospel man himself, Mr. Ricky Derae. And we're just having a little technical issues with his Wi-Fi. But listen, everybody that's in the chat, we want to say hello, good evening to you all. Mr. Joe Sims out of the DMV area, thank you so much for tuning in. Annie, Annie Dobbs Davis, all the way from Mississippi. Thank you so much. Pastor Wino, thank you so much for tuning in from Zambia, Africa. Yes. Ty Live, that's my girl, y'all. She's saying blessings, family. So I'm just thanking each and every one of you for joining in. We have what Jermaine Sams. When I was the drummer for the keynotes, I used to love coming to South Florida for Big Bro. Yes, yeah, and you know everybody loved the keynotes. So thank you all so much for tuning in. He's definitely having technical issues on his side with the Wi-Fi, but we're just learning the history of Mr. Ricky Derae. And a lot of times we see people, but we don't know where they come from. It didn't happen overnight. And everybody has a story. They definitely have a story.
I'm back.
And, and Mr. Ricky Derae, he's back, y'all. He has a story. He has a lot of history under his belt. I remember talking to you a few months back. It was a couple of months back, and
Mhm.
you started just sharing a lot of your history and how you got started, where you came from, and it was just amazing. So I told you I was going to bring you on.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here tonight. I'm glad, and you're doing a tremendous job. And believe me, your name's
Oh,
getting
thank you.
around. People's loving you. You're doing it.
Oh, wow. Thank
You
you.
and your team,
To
brother Joe
God be the
Rowley
glory. It's
and
all God.
MJ. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like I was saying, I'm so glad that you're here. You have people in the chat saying hello, and Jermaine Sams. He
All
said,
right.
when I was a drummer for the keynotes, I used to love coming to South Florida for Big Bro. So it's people that still remember, and
Yeah.
they can validate everything that you're saying. Um, you're bringing up historical places in Miami. You mentioned Studio 183, and I bet people's like, yeah, I remember because this used to going down in Studio 183. And then
Yeah.
you brought up the Guzman Center. That's where we
Yeah.
used to go as well for a
That's
lot of the
right.
plays, and they
That's
were
right.
sold out. So but go ahead and finish your thought.
Well, like I said, I have put gospel shows in all the major arenas around here, not only in here but in other parts of Florida and other states. I have worked the War Memorial Theater, the Kravitz Center, James L. Knight Center, the Sunrise Musical Theater, uh,
Yes.
all the big churches around here, Hopewell Missionary Baptist Church, Friendship, New Birth, Sweet Home, Second Baptist. Yeah, I mean, all the major churches I have worked with, and never had a problem with none of them. We always, if we did good, we did good. We didn't, we were gonna be happy. 93rd, all everybody, and there's
Yeah,
somebody.
friendship. Let's talk about friendship.
Friendship. That's my church.
That's your church. Yes.
Reverend Gaston Smith. Yes,
Yes,
sir. Yeah, and you know what?
absolutely.
You know what helps gospel, and I want all the gospel singers, especially the quartet. 'Cause quartet to me is my heart, but we don't get to play on the radio like they used to. But
Mm-hmm.
if you have a group and you come in town, just don't sleep on Sunday morning. Get to somebody church on Sunday morning.
Come on, say that again. You can
Get
say
to
that
some
again.
get to somebody church because the peoples that you sing and don't try to groups you got to help yourself. I know it takes finance, it takes revenue to do this and do that. Ask me, I know,
Yes,
but you got to help yourself. Just like a promoter helps bring you in. So if you come into Florida and if you're working with this promoter, ask them, hey, can I go to this church and do a couple songs that Sunday morning? I did it with I done had the Clouds, Lee Williams, Doc McKenzie, the Cantons, all of
yeah,
them at Friendship
yeah,
Missionary, and they didn't
absolutely.
charge a dime. They didn't charge a dime. And so
Yes,
Doc McKenzie sung harder at my church, and then he did the program. but but it helps because people that would never hear you, they hear you on that Sunday morning, and they will
yes,
come back out to see you. Yes, the church ain't gonna let you sing for nothing.
right,
But
right.
they give you a love offering, but don't put no, hey, I gotta have 5,000 or I gotta have two
Absolutely.
thousand and sing two songs. Don't do that because you're hurting yourself.
And you know
Get in
what?
somebody's church.
You're absolutely. I totally agree with that because you're singing to a whole nother audience actually because and I think a lot of times in quartet we get stuck with that quartet audience and we become dependent a lot of times on that quartet audience, right?
Right,
But you
right,
got to realize and this is to all the artists, there is
right.
a whole nother world out there
Yes,
that
it is.
you want to network with. Don't get so comfortable in one place or one spot, right?
Preach,
but,
preach.
but you have to come, you got to be diverse. You got to be diverse. If he's called you to the nations, it's
Right,
not just that quartet nation, right?
right, right,
It's so many people, so many cultures, so many people that will not walk into those quartet programs that
right.
you'll be able to bless their life. And you just never know who's in the audience when you go to these churches.
Let me tell you something. When being a quartet singer, you got to learn how to sing on all levels, not just
Yes,
quartet level. You got to learn how to sing to the lawyers, the doctors, sports athletes, people's that uh, all the different colors. You have to learn to
right.
sing that. And I just had the Monte Clouds of Georgia. We just came out of we was in Covington, Georgia, Saturday night. Sunday morning, they went to Grace Temple, Reverend Mafalon Church, and
Yes,
sung and got more than what they ever thought they were gonna get. But it was a new
absolutely.
audience
Yeah, it was a
that
new
accepts you.
audience.
It was
Yes,
a new audience, and that's what you got. Promoters, including me, get in a church, get your home church,
yes.
learn how to be. Just don't, just
A
don't be
servant.
there. Be a servant.
Be a
You know
servant.
what I mean?
Get
You know what I
involved.
mean? Because it's all about serving God. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Don't get too grand before you think you grand.
Absolutely. And even if you get to that level, still be humble
Be
and
humble.
serve. And people ask me all the time, like, how did you get into this? And where you been? I've been there all
Right,
along. And
right.
sometimes people feel like if they don't see you in the room, you wasn't in the room. But I was in the room and I was soaking it up. I was in my local church. I was
hmm
serving, although I
hmm
love programs and quartet
Right.
singing.
hmm
I served as a young
Right.
girl in my local church, and
Right.
that was my first beginning or my first start in
hmm
administration, in business, in learning how to handle finances because I did all of this in
Right.
my local church. So it's good to serve. Definitely, it's good to serve because you don't know where that's going to lead and where God is going to take you through your serving.
Ask me. And number one thing you got to learn when you're out there, whatever you're doing, this could be anything. You got to learn how to take criticism
Right,
because it's
right.
coming.
Yes.
Don't expect people's gonna pat on your back. You got to learn how to take criticism and put a smile on
Absolutely.
your face.
Absolutely.
Learn how to deal with a no, and
Mm-hmm.
but keep smiling. You know,
Yes.
don't get mad when people, down through the years, they say this about me. I said, well, that's all right. They talking about the only thing they helping building my brand. That's all they doing. and
Yes.
the people and the people that be talking, they ain't never did nothing.
Yes. And that's, and it comes, and I tell people all the time, it comes with the territory.
Yeah,
I'm like, I stay focused on what I'm doing and
right,
what God has given me to do,
right.
because people are going to be people. People are going to say um, different things. And you
Yeah,
just have, like you said, you just have to know how to take those no's. You just
yeah,
have to know how to take corrective criticism, because
yeah.
all criticism is not bad.
No,
So you just have to know how to um,
adapt.
differentiate and
Hmm.
categorize those things of what's for me, what's not for me, and then
Right,
learn how to listen when
right,
they're not giving you the praise that you want to hear, because
right, right,
maybe that is something that is able to help you.
right. A
So that
criticism
was definitely a good point you made.
make you a better person. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, and and surround yourself with positive folks, not negative. Some of them positive, they turn negative too. But whatever you do, pray about it and think about it and do it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because God is in control.
So
What I'm doing now in my in this point of life, I never dreamed I would be doing anything like this. What I'm doing now, I would
yes.
never. You would have told me that 10 years ago. I wasn't me, no, not me. But what
Hmm.
God has for you, that's come being humble and listening to people and doing whatever you say you're gonna do it.
Yes. Absolutely. And you know what? Since we're on criticism, let's bring this up, because
Hmm.
everybody wants to know. Everybody in South Florida saw the flyers going up
Hmm.
about this Mother's Day celebration. So we're
Yeah,
gonna talk about it, y'all. We're gonna
yeah,
talk about it. We're gonna put it out there.
yeah.
The show was canceled.
Yes, yes, it
The
was.
show was canceled, and
Hmm.
everybody is talking around town. What happened? What happened? What happened?
But
So here's the man.
this is what happened. I was working with Al Watch, my partner. We've been working with together a long time. We're still gonna be working together. For the past, I say for the past 20 years, he been doing a Mother's Day weekend and been playing it in from 9 to 12 cities with different artists.
Right.
So this year, he had played 9 cities, and he had Tremaine Hawkins, not Tremaine Hawkins, Tamla Mam,
Cameraman.
Hezekiah Walker, Donald Lawrence, John P. Key, Shirley Caesar, Marvin Sapp, all of them. Okay, but in 3 nights, he played 9 shows. Okay, the show that we were supposed to play is Birmingham, Fort Lauderdale, which is Sunrise, and Columbia, South Carolina. So the man got $2 million worth of acts. Okay. The tickets was moving slow. Birmingham really killed our leg. Our leg was Birmingham, like I said, Birmingham, Florida, and Columbia, South Carolina. And he playing Birmingham a 4,000 seater. He got Shirley Caesar, Marvin Sapp, Deacon Hatch, and Michael Coppell, and even
Melvin Crispell. Mhm.
Melvin Coppell. You know, help me out there. And at the time, he only sold 150 tickets.
Wow.
We in the 4,000. He's in the 4,000 seater. All right. Fort Lauderdale, at the time he counted, we was at 500 tickets. And Columbia, South Carolina, they was at 500 tickets. But he couldn't take a chance because he had shows in Baltimore. Baltimore wasn't selling no tickets. Philadelphia wasn't selling no tickets. Washington, D.C. wasn't selling no tickets. Detroit, he was in Detroit that Sunday, and he running against Bruno Mars and Anthony Hampton and Fantasia. He ain't gonna sell
Mhm.
no tickets. Chicago. So the man, look, even though I'm partnership with him down in Miami, I got my revenue with the show. I want the show to happen. But
Right.
he said, I can't go no farther, Rick. He said,
Right.
I'm
Right.
losing. He said, I'm gonna lose about $2 million. He said, when I cancel one, I gotta cancel them all.
Yeah.
So I
So
said, well,
so
Al,
let's talk about this, right?
mhm,
And this and people talk about when these
mhm,
type of shows getting canceled, especially you see a lot in the gospel industry,
mhm.
right?
Yes.
But we have to take part ownership in that as well, because if we're supporters of gospel music, we have to go out and we have to really rally up, just like
Mhm.
if like and I'm gonna just put this out there. They're selling Chris Brown tickets now, and that's happening here in December. Like people are on it. They are on it in
It's
the
sold out.
secular, yes, in the secular industry. So we have to support gospel music just like that, because on the back end, what you don't see is there is a lot of revenue that is
Whew.
being invested in these shows. And we spoke Ricky. It's like it all boils down to the numbers of what the numbers are looking like. And
Mhm.
these big companies and business owners, they want to make sure that they're making their numbers back, or they're
Right,
making them that money back that's being
right,
invested plus
right,
some. They just
right.
don't want to cut even. You
No,
want to you want to make some capital off of that. So
right, right.
listen, we have to support these gospel shows when you see them coming to town,
Mm-hmm.
because like I said, there is definitely a lot of investment that goes into it, and it's
And
a lot of business meetings that are happening behind the scenes to make sure that everything is covered, promotions are out, all of that costs money, everybody.
and
it's
these
it's not
group,
easy.
the gospel artists, some of them don't come cheap. We got to
Right.
put them in. We got to put them in a hotel down in Miami. Like,
Yeah, it's
and you
costly.
can't, and you can't put them in like the Red Rooster, or the Days Inn. Those days over.
Absolutely.
They want 5 stars hotel. Them rooms running about 250. You got 30 rooms you got to get of $300. That's a lot of money.
Yes,
So
yes. And I'm here to tell you, because I
then
book rooms a lot of times for the
yeah,
artist,
yeah,
so I know what time it is.
and then you got to fly them in here. After you fly them in here, you got to have transportation. You got to, and then you had catering. Then you got to pay them. That's just the artist. The building, these buildings cost money too. You know, I'm just going to use James L. Knight Center. When we do them shows at the James L. Knight Center, one night would cost us, at this the building alone would cost us $33,000. That's a
Right,
lot of
right.
money.
And
That's a
and,
lot
and
of
tell
money.
them how many seaters is the James L. Knight Center.
It's 4,800, but after you put productions in there, you only get about 41. And then you got to look at this. When you do shows, everybody want a comp ticket. Lord have mercy.
Hmm. Hmm.
I have so many friends when they get ready to do a show, and then after the show, I don't hear from them to do another show again.
For
But
the next show.
yeah, but that's cool. That comes with the territory. But it's expensive doing the show. Radio, we got to be on this radio,
Yeah.
and what hurt the gospel promoters, even black promoters, period. We have to pay up front.
Hmm.
Live
Hmm.
Nation and them other opponents, they don't pay up front. They pay 60 days or 90 days after the show. But we got
Hmm.
to come up front. That
Right.
hurt. When I used to do the shows at the Sunrise Musical Theater with Celador Production, they would let me know, hey, we're gonna be all right. We want to cancel show every once, we want a bad show every once in a while because the book. But when you're dealing at your pocket, it's different. Yeah. And then we got to pay for the
Absolutely.
commercial. We got to pay for the commercial. The
Yeah.
commercials that we be running, it costs $800 and $900.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think and I think this is the part that the people definitely need to hear and
Hmm.
understand.
Hmm.
Um the the investment that goes on behind the scenes, even before even even before it goes public. It's a lot of setup that has to be done, and you gave us the breakdown, the venue,
Woo.
production, because you don't want to have top tier artists coming on Dollar Tree production. It's
Nope,
just not going to work,
it's not
and
gonna work.
it doesn't make sense. So you want to have the best production team in there. And if you go to a place like the James L. Knight Center, the Sunrise Musical Theater, the Guzman, they ain't gonna take it. They're not even gonna take the Dollar Tree. No, you
Nope.
got to use their equipment. You got to, there's certain requirements that has to be done. Let's not
Mhm.
forget the insurance.
Oh yeah,
It's,
you better have that insurance.
just different things that you have in place, and that's a big job for a promoter.
Yeah,
It
and then
definitely is.
the promoter himself, we running all around. We
Right.
spending our gas, our time, being up at night. You don't know what's what. So it's a lot of coming with the territory if you're gonna promote. Now, if you're not gonna promote, then you can do what you got to do. But if you're gonna promote, it costs. Like every year, um I bring in the talent for the MLK.
Yes.
This year, I'm just gonna give a little number. This year it cost us $450,000
Yes.
to do that show.
Hmm.
Luckily, it didn't come out of our pocket. It was from the commissioners and stuff. But it costs. So it even costs you right now. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And
Yeah.
people say, I want you to do this. And you gotta get a little donation or something for your time. Because nothing is free.
Yeah.
Nothing is free.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and you're right. So, all I'm saying, let us take that in mind when you see another gospel show
Mm-hmm.
coming into town in
Mm-hmm.
whatever city. I saw it advertised in the DMV area. A matter of fact, Miss Gwendolyn Sims, and Mr. Sims, they're on out of the DMV area. They were representing in that area, and
Mm-hmm.
there were certain ones that I am connected to and tied
Mm-hmm.
to that was also representing in their cities. So
Mm-hmm.
when we hear about gospel music, let us come
Mm-hmm.
out and let us support these shows, because
Right.
there's definitely a lot that goes into these shows, and we want to bring the very best of gospel music, the top
Mm-hmm.
tier, into town. But it takes funds. It
It takes
takes a community support.
and not only support the big shows, is support the small shows, your local
Yes,
shows. You know, 'cause
yes,
because before you come professional, you're local, you're local, a local, then
yes.
you come professional. So we don't never know who we helping, who gonna be who.
Who's
You know,
going to
like
be who?
you don't know.
Absolutely.
So let's put our arms. You know, when I go to programs, I don't try to sneak in the door because I'm Ricky Derae around. I buy a ticket. You know what I
Yes,
mean? And I may not sit there. I may buy a ticket and say, "You want to go? Come on," because it's supporting.
yes,
We need to support. You got some good groups down on this end, very good groups. You know, we got to put our arms around them, and the groups y'all got to know how to work with you. If you got somebody in your corner, work with them. You know what I
absolutely.
mean? Because your singing ain't gonna get it by itself. It's business. This is a business. We know we're singing for the Lord and everything, but you got to have business too. And if you got
Yes,
somebody supporting you and helping you, put your arms around them and listen. And you may not agree on that, but go 50-50 and see what happens.
yeah, yeah. And you know what? Because if you have to go in with the open mind, and I say this all the time, and you're talking about the business sector of it, because a large portion of that is the business. And then the next portion of that is your character. And you said it: smile, meet people, greet people, say hello, because that's what people will remember. They're going to remember how they were treated, whether they were
Right,
treated bad or
right,
whether they were treated real, real good. And
right.
so that brings also in support, right?
Yes, it
And
does.
then the little last 10% of this is your talent, what you bring to the stage. So,
Yeah.
and this is what we talk about. But in
Mhm.
order to get these people here, it's all in influence. It's
Right,
all in who you
right,
are and what you're
right.
doing and how you're moving your business.
Mhm.
And you have to know that the character is a strong part
It
of
is.
who you are in that business side, because it just makes it more easy.
Learn,
right?
learn your craft.
Learn.
Learn your craft.
You're absolutely right. Learn
Learn
your
it.
craft at all stages,
And
not
that's
just
what I
on
do.
the stage, but all stages.
There you
Learn
go.
what you
There you
have to
go.
do.
Right.
And this is where I've experienced artists that have been singing a long time. You have some that just got into it,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have some that's in the middle, um, and now they're trying to get more into learning the
Mm-hmm.
craft, actual learning the craft,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of these artists, they made bad business choices. They signed contracts. They got tied up in a whole lot of things because they didn't understand the business portion
Right.
of it. They
Right.
lost their masters to songs.
Right.
Um,
A lot of groups, even the professional groups, don't even have their trademark name.
absolutely,
Don't even have the
absolutely,
trademark. Uh, you got to, and a lot of groups. That's a lot of groups right now don't even have a publisher. A publisher
right.
that would make you. That what makes
Yes,
you.
yes.
And you,
So I'm glad that you're bringing up a lot of this.
and the
Um,
publisher, they get paid.
they get paid. Absolutely.
And then yeah,
Radio
you know what
services, they get paid.
they get paid. And I ain't talking about no little money. They get
Yes,
paid good money.
good
And
money.
and
Absolutely.
how you think Marvin Sapp, Kirk Franklin, Yolanda, all of them stay out there? They're publisher.
The publisher.
Yeah.
Public relations, you have your publicists, you have it's just so many different things
So
that
many
that
elements.
that
So
that
many
make
elements.
up that infrastructure of becoming who you are. and
Right.
and people feel like we don't need all of that. And this is what I say, and you're from the old school. So let's fast forward now, y'all, to the new school,
hmm
because now social media, the scouts don't have to fly in. They don't have to fly you in.
hmm
They're scouting right off of social media,
Right.
and seeing if
Right.
I want to bring this group into my city, into my
Right.
town. And
hmm
then, off of one song, you can be a sensation
Right.
overnight.
Right.
Overnight. And if you
Right.
don't have your business in place, you can lose a whole lot of money. You can
You,
lose a whole lot of stuff. You could just lose out, period.
you know who is the most important person in the group?
Who is that?
It's not the lead singer. It's not the tenor singer. It's not the baritone singer. It's not the manager. It's the booking manager.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most important man in your group. If you quartet, listen to me now. If you got a bad booking manager, you ain't going nowhere. I'm telling you
You
that
ain't
right
going
now.
nowhere.
You ain't going nowhere.
Yeah,
You stay home. If you got a good
absolutely correct.
business manager that know how to deal with the people, know how to talk, you may get a hot record. Oh no, we get such no. Take it easy. Take it easy. I'm I've been booking the Mighty Clouds of Joy for the last 10 years. And it's been dates that I took that we we don't really get, but I knew what we had to do.
Right.
You got to have a good booking manager and a good manager and a group that understands
Yeah,
the
your
business.
whole team and your whole staff, and I can't stress this enough of how important it is to have an infrastructure for your organization. And when I say for your organization, it's your group, your gospel group. And you said something too, that a lot of the groups, like the vets, don't have their group name trademarked,
Mm-mm. You know.
like the gospel keynotes,
No.
the mighty clouds of joy.
Mm-mm.
I think Slim and Supreme Angels the same is as well. So these are a lot of the vet groups that understood their legacy and wanted to
Mhm.
keep it together. So
Mhm.
we have to focus a lot on the infrastructure now of building a solid foundation for
Mhm.
our groups, for your
And th-
organization.
and there's one more thing. If you're a young group, you gotta decide. Do I want to sing for the money or do I want to sing for the future? Something to think about. You sing for the money, you You ain't going too far. Sing for the future. The future. So you have to know where you want to go, because if you're singing for the money, especially in quartet, you ain't going too far. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
You're
You ain't going
absolutely
too far.
correct.
You ain't
You're
going too
absolutely,
far.
and you know what? And that's why I don't want them to get stuck in
Right,
just singing
right,
for that quartet audience. Like I
right,
said at the beginning, you have to learn or even challenge yourself to be diverse. And that's not changing your identity and who
right.
you are as a quartet artist, but
Hmm.
you're introducing what you are, I mean, who
Right,
you are and what
right,
you do to another different audience
right.
that's going to love it. Do you see our Caucasian brothers and sisters,
Yeah.
whether it's playing gospel on a cruise ship, playing
Hmm.
in a club, the House of
Hmm.
Blues
Yeah.
used to have gospel artists come in all the time.
All the time.
They
All
love,
the
don't just think they're not going to be, it's a whole lot of audiences out there that never heard of your group, never heard your music, that you need to present it to. Don't, I can't stress this enough. Don't get stuck in your quartet audience.
mm-mm, mm-mm. And it's another
Be
thing.
diverse.
It's another thing I want to tell the young groups. It's about singing, isn't it? It's not about the music, because a lot of groups, some groups, they think the music is what you draw. It's the songs that you draw the
It's
folks.
the lyrics.
It's the
And you know what?
lyrics.
And know who you're singing about. Don't just be singing just to be singing, but just understand who you're singing about.
Have some
You know,
stimulant in your
get
music.
you some biblical structure going on, not only business wise, God wise, spiritually.
Right.
You know, um,
Right.
and know that it's not about you. It has never been about you. It's all
No.
about God.
Have a message in your songs.
Yes, and let that be number one. Let it be number one. In it, the anointing has to be there.
Right.
So don't just get all caught up and think you could do this on your own, because that you're setting yourself up for a disastrous fall. So
Yeah.
just know who you're singing about,
Right.
and be sincere when you
Right.
sing the song of praises,
Right.
because there's people out there that need your voice. There's
Right.
people out there that needs the message, like you
Hmm.
said, in your song, to
Right.
bring them through. You just never know who's showing up at these services, at these programs, at these shows, whatever you want to call it. But just make sure that God is the head of everything that you do, and
Exactly.
and and it's and is the why to what you're doing. Let's
Right.
not forget that.
Right. And then if you do that and put God first, and everything will be all right. You know what I'm saying? But it's a lot of good groups I see on social media, and it's a different day. The gospel done changed. It done changed in the last. It was changing anyway, but the last 2 years, it's really done changed. It's a turn, because
Yes,
people in my generation, we are getting older, so we need the younger group to take over. But the young group, y'all got to learn. You're going to learn how to take over and
yes,
listen, because you don't listen at everything. But what you need, keep up here. The rest of and be humble, like you say, be humble,
be humble.
and God,
Yes,
God will take you away. I'm telling you that because let me tell you something. I've been on my own since I've been 15 years old. No cousins, no uncles, no nieces, nephews, nobody. But God's been good to me, and I've been all over the United States with gospel music. I've been not only with gospel music, I have worked with all the blues singers, Tyrone Davis, Johnny Taylor, and all. I have worked with Tyler Perry, all of them. I have worked with a lot of major artists, and
yes.
God still comes. Somebody say, "Well, Rick, you work with all of them major. How come you ain't got no money?" I say, "I got my life, health, and strength, and I'm still here. And I'll be
Yeah,
69 years old and don't even look it. Good God Almighty,
yeah, yeah.
that's a
That's
blessing."
awesome. That is a blessing. That is, and listen, you also, I don't know, should I say who you work for
Tell
and
them,
what your job? Yeah,
tell them.
listen, he's big stuff now. He working for the city of Miami, District 5, Councilwoman, Commissioner, Miss Christine King. And
Yes,
look,
sir.
I don't want to get your title wrong. What's your title there?
I'm the director of interfaith relations for District 5. I'm dealing with over 52 churches in my district. And I love it. You know what I mean? This is a part of it. But guess what? Guess what got me here? God got me here, but guess what else got me here?
What's that?
Gospel. Gospel.
Gospel. Yes. Yes.
And,
So
some people just want, I want to be a gospel singer. I want to do this. Being a God, what you want to be, what God has for you is two different. See, you know, for me, being like my life and everything, it brought me to this point to spread. I want
yes.
when I was a little boy, I want to be a gospel singer, and then I end up being a promoter. Then I end up being director in the church. See, you never know where it takes you at.
You just never
Beyond,
know.
you never know.
Yeah, and and I tell people this all the time. God wants your yes, and we can say what we want to do and how we want to do it. We can plan our lives out.
Exactly.
But we just don't know what our story is. We just
Mm-hmm.
have to just be obedient to whatever that is that what God is saying, where God is taking us, and just do the work. You was in there carrying the amplifier as a little boy. You just never know
You
like
never
where
know.
God is placing you.
And,
And you
and,
thought
and,
you were going to be a gospel singer, but you ended up being a promoter and learning this stuff as you go along. And this is
mhm.
the thing. And every day wasn't easy because you said it yourself. I ran into some trouble. I got into some trouble.
Yeah.
And Mr. Ricky, me and you both know some of that trouble. But we're
Yeah.
not gonna tell that story. You ain't
No,
gonna tell that
no.
story, but you got it together. You got it
Yeah.
together,
Yeah.
and you got what you needed. And
Mm-hmm.
these are the things people see the glory, but they don't know the story.
Know the
And
story.
a lot of times we want to say, we look at people and say, "This is what I want to do," but you don't know the process. You don't know what's entailed. Everybody can't handle what you do.
No, no, no.
Everybody cannot handle what you do.
And
So I commend you
let,
for
let,
all of
let,
these years.
let me say this here and have faith. Faith is something you can't see, but it's something that you can live and learn and it take you. So everybody want to do something solid. I see this. But
Hmm.
when you step out on faith, it's a through part. That's the faith, the through part. When you
Yes,
know you're gonna be all right, you coming out. But that through part, that's what gets you. But learn how to
yes.
go through the through part. Gotta take you at the end.
Okay, Bishop, I hear you. I hear
Yeah,
you. Come on, learn how to go through the through part.
that's
Yes,
right.
learn how to go through that process.
That's right.
Everybody wanted easy
Right.
way. Our pastor said, a lot of times we know where we want to go at the beginning stage, and then at
Mm-hmm.
the end we know where we want to be, and we know what we want the result to look like. But what
Mm-hmm.
we don't know is that process in the middle, the stuff you got
Ooh,
to go through, that through part. Yeah, y'all put that in the chat. The through part,
that do
uh,
part.
yeah, that through part is where a lot of people give up. That
Right.
process is where a lot of people throw in the towel. It's like, man, I didn't know it was going to be like this.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times, those through parts and that process, it mold and make you what you need to be to experience the end.
The
Right?
test will the test will make your testimony.
Come on. Are you kicking them out tonight, Bishop? Come on now. So let me go to the chat real quick, and we're gonna close this out because we've
Okay.
just been over here a little over an hour.
Okay.
But Gwendolyn Sims, radio announcer, event host, a phenomenal woman of God. She's
Mm-hmm.
out of the DMV area. She said, I needed him to come to my table on Thursday night, Facebook Live, for more of this. Come
I
on.
will.
You got
I
another
will.
booking.
I will. Tell,
Yes,
tell
yes.
get the contact from you. You can call me at
We're gonna
305
make it
318
happen. We're gonna make it happen.
2301. Yes, yes.
Because this is a lot of wisdom. This is a lot of knowledge over the years that have worked with the best of the best, not only in gospel, but in secular music as well.
Mm-hmm.
And he is a phenomenal promoter. He's known all over this world by so many different people. And I'm just grateful that you are here with me on tonight. And listen, you need to go to the table with Miss Gwendolyn Sims. She's a phenomenal woman of
I
God
want to
as
go
well.
to it.
You're
I
going to
can't.
definitely enjoy her. Her and her husband, Mr. Joe Sims. Listen, he gonna be contacting you. He does
Yeah.
everything for her.
Okay.
All of
I'm
the
ready.
booking, everything, he'll set you up real good. And Jermaine Sams, he's saying facts. He's agreeing with what you're saying.
Yeah.
So the people in the chat are actually agreeing with the conversation that we're
Mm-hmm.
having on tonight. But
Mm-hmm.
I thank you for sticking with gospel. You
Hey,
are the
listen.
gospel man.
You know what? And I thank God for you because we need more people like you and a good sister that want me to come to the faith table with them because you was carrying the torch on. There was a Mother Francis. There was a Brother Lee. There was many others, but they gone. You still here, and God got work for you. And you love, and ever since I know you, you love the quartet music. You've been, hey, she don't want to say it, but she used to buy them tickets for me left and right.
Yes.
But anyway,
Listen,
you
we
are
don't
doing
even
a
met up
superb
and
job.
bought tickets.
Yeah. You're doing a superb job and got
Thank
good
you.
things from you. You don't have no worries. All you need is faith in God, like all of us need faith in God.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. I really appreciate that. We want to appreciate everyone that is in the
Yes.
chat. If I didn't read your comment, y'all please forgive me. It's quite a few in here. Um, Annie Dobbs out of Mississippi is saying good teaching. Uh, that right, you never know who is in that church. Yeah. So
Right.
they're just basically agreeing with everything that is being said. Annie Davis is also saying, I love to hear the history about quartet. My family sang quartet. I have a family member that sang with Lee Williams. So
Okay.
there's a lot of history in quartet, and quartet is the foundation
Mm-hmm.
to a whole lot of genres, to the majority of the genre. Even I talk about Frank Sinatra because I love a lot of classical music. I love
Mm-hmm.
music, period. But quartet set the the margin for it
Well,
all, I believe.
let me tell you something. Quartet set the margin for rap music.
Yes.
They was rapping back in the day. The Golden Gate gospel singers, the Bells of Joy, all them groups back there. They wasn't called quartet then. They were called Jubilee singers.
Uh,
That was, I'm going back in 1939, but they used to rap. Oh, John, and then it came along. That's what rapping came from. It came from gospel.
yes.
That's it.
Yes.
So quartet music has opened the doors for a lot of young artists, especially these young artists now. Most of these young artists are like King George and all them boys. They come from the
Mhm.
quartet.
It came from quartet. Absolutely. Absolutely. Mr. Ricky, listen, I don't want to keep you, and I know the
Man,
people are
God.
listening.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna fast forward you over to the table. Miss Gwendolyn Sims, because it's necessary.
Yeah.
It's necessary that the word gets out, and people become more knowledgeable of who we are as a community and
Mm-hmm.
what we possess, the history that we possess. And I think when we learn who we are, we handle ourselves better, right?
Yes. Yes,
And
ma'am.
when we understand where we come from, we care for stuff a little better. We care for
Mm-hmm.
our community a little better. So, and we're not afraid to say that we're quartet. We're not
Right.
afraid, no matter what other style of gospel comes out, we stand on who we are. Because you know what I've noticed? No matter where we go, quartet music always stands out.
That's right. That's
It
right.
always stands out. And like I said, don't be afraid to introduce yourself to a whole different crowd of people
No,
as
no,
a quartet artist because
right,
you will stand out. You will
right.
stand out.
But
So
do it.
any final words? Any final words, Mr. Ricky DeRay?
Whatever you do, all the young singers and singers now, whatever you do, put God first. You don't have no worries. All you need is faith in God. Do it from your heart and treat people's right and be humble and ask God for directions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So listen, everybody, Mr. Ricky Derae, your story is powerful. Your journey is inspiring, and definitely your legacy is undeniable. We honor you tonight. We
Appreciate that.
celebrate you, and we thank you for everything you've poured into the gospel music industry. And if I missed anything, y'all please forgive me, okay? If like I said, if I missed you in the chat, please charge it to my head and not my heart. I had a long day today.
Me too.
Look, I got to tell you off of camera what happened today.
Lord have
But
mercy.
we're here. We're
Okay.
here. And if you have missed any part of this incredible conversation, just go back and watch it, share it, and celebrate this legend. He has done so much in the gospel music industry, everybody. So thank you once again, Mr. Derae. I love you. I appreciate you. You have brought the best of the best to South Florida. Mr. Joe Riley said this is good information.
Yeah.
So I know he'll be talking to you.
Hey, I'm like Jane Cleveland. I don't feel nowhere tired.
That's right. That's right. Listen, no matter what comes your way, don't give up. Don't give up. No. You know, failures happen, things happen, but just keep your head up, keep it going. And even no matter what people say, you know, it comes with the territory. People be peopling and people be talking. But you know what? Keep focused, keep your walk, stand on God's promises, and like you said, have faith. Have faith because God is gonna bring you through it.
Yes, sir.
He's gonna bring you through it.
Yes,
so
thank you so
all right,
much.
everybody. You're welcome. This has been Quartet Sensations. I'm your girl, Lady Daz. Thank y'all so much for tuning in, and good night.
Good night.